Why you get
This was like in my lunchbox in the third grade.
This is my favorite. Why you got to do this?
Trying to get in shape.
I am. That's why I'm cheating a little bit. You
my
have to
gosh,
show the
we had
word I'm
DK
cheating.
Metcalf on the show today, posting pictures in his abs, and you said you were about to take it seriously.
That's right, but that's tonight, not today, Molly.
And I
not
love
today.
how you have him hidden and ashamed. All right, I'm leaving you alone.
You're gonna walk into
where they do the Stephen A. Smith
This is where they do the Stephen A. Smith show. I got you. Do you know they do another show in here? Did you ever hear of Jalen and Jacoby show?
I have. I've heard.
You ever heard of that show?
I mean,
they do that show right in here in the studio too. Molly.
Yeah, and you both have the special talent of being able to talk all day.
Really?
Unbelievable.
Well, he would actually, you don't know that about me. You only know it from me for a couple of hours. With him, you would know it all day.
For a day. Never
That's
run
right.
out of steam.
That's right.
Bye, everybody.
You
Have
know
a great
what?
day.
I'm bringing you back on. We're going to have a Mollywood segment up on the show.
I want to do the relationship segment.
Really?
Yeah.
So can I be the love doctor? Will you do that?
Yeah, you can be
all
the
right,
love
and you
doctor.
can
And
critique.
I'll be the love police and help everyone.
And you can critique my advice.
I'd love it. Anytime.
Give me a high five on that. You're going
to
critique my advice. The wonderful, lovely, incomparable Molly Karam interrupts my radio show, but she can do that. She can get away with doing that. Nobody else can pull that off. But she can do it. I will allow that. Anyway, I digress. For good reason, by the way, because I love Molly. Here's the deal. There was a basketball game that took place last night. There was several basketball games that took place last night, but one that I'm particularly more interested in than the others. And that is the Portland Trailblazers going up 2-0 in this best-of-7 first-round Western Conference series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Damian Lillard put on a show last night, and so did C.J. McCollum. C.J. McCollum actually had 33 points on 12 of 22 shooting, hitting all 6 of his free throws, grabbing about 8 rebounds, having about 5 assists. But Damian Lillard and some of the shots that he was making, it was something special. And it was made to be even more special because of what Damian Lillard did it against. Here's the reality of the situation. Russell Westbrook got thoroughly outplayed last night. And do we have sound from Russell Westbrook, John? Because we need to have that. We need to hear from Russell Westbrook himself about what happened and what he's going to do to remedy the situation. Because right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder are trailing this series 0-2. And oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if they don't win both of these games, the Oklahoma City Thunder are going home in 5 games. But before I get into it any further, listen to Russell Westbrook talk about what transpired in the Thunder's 20-point loss to the Trailblazers last night.
They won their first 2 home games. Obviously, we wanted to try to steal one when we can, but let's just stay with it. We're a great basketball team. A lot of great guys on this team that I trust in their abilities to make shots and make plays on both sides of the basketball. And we'll be all right, Start with myself. I got to play better. And tonight, the loss, I'm going to take full responsibility of tonight because the way I played was unacceptable, and I'm going to be better. So I'm not worried one bit. My job is to make sure I continue to come out and, will and lead our guys and make sure we have a chance to win the game.
Russ, you guys were up 10 midway through the second quarter. Things sort of went downhill the rest of the game. What happened there what happened in the first quarter and a half that you didn't get around to doing in the last 2.5 quarters?
Next question.
Was that last night? Or was that game 1? That second sound from Russell Westbrook refusing to answer the question. I don't believe that was last night. I believe that was after game 1, correct? Well, listen. I personally think that any basketball-related question they should answer, but clearly Russell Westbrook appears to have a problem with a particular reporter asking the question. And that had a lot to do with his no comments. It wasn't like he went up on the podium and was saying no comment to everyone, according to what I was told. It was no comment to a particular reporter. Nevertheless, here's what it comes down to. Damian Lillard put on the show. Had 29 last night, 10 of 21 shooting, 4 of 8 from three-point range, step back 3 over Raymond Felton, pulled up from 30 over Russell Westbrook. I mean, Damian Lillard put on a show, put on an absolute show. Having said all of that, here's the deal. Damian Lillard, is it not time to recognize that this man may be first-team All-NBA, even ahead of Steph? I'm not saying he's better than Steph. I'm not saying I'd rather have him than Steph. That's not what I'm saying, because Steph is something special, meaning Steph Curry. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, based on this year's level of production, when you consider what Damian Lillard has been working with, and when you consider what Steph Curry has been working with, when you consider the fact that Damian Lillard has missed 24 games in 7 years, he's played 96% of the games that he's been available for the Portland Trailblazers in his career. This dude has been a workhorse. He's been he produces. He's averaging 26 and 7. He led Portland to 53 victories this year. It's just undeniable what we're seeing from Damian Lillard. And based on what we're seeing, is it not time to start talking about him as first-team All-NBA for this particular season? Not saying he's better. Not saying you'd rather have him over Steph or whatever. I'm saying, is it not time to recognize that he may have had the best season of any point guard in the NBA this year? Is it not time to recognize that? Because I think it is. I think we have to do that. Damian Lillard led the Portland Trailblazers 53 wins. CJ McCollum was out for a little while. Nurkic is out for the rest of the season. What do you have? You got Maurice Harkless, Al-Farouq Aminu, Enes Kanter, Rodney Hood, Evan Turner, Seth Curry, Myers Leonard. I mean, what the hell is Damian Lillard playing with? No disrespect to any of those guys. I mean, his brother's going out there night in, night out and getting it done. And I think when you look at it from that perspective, you simply can't ignore what we're seeing before our very eyes, what's transpiring as we speak. Somehow, some way, at some point, we're going to have to stand up and pay attention. Because this is what Damian Lillard is bringing to the table. Now, it doesn't help that you've been swept and been bounced out the last 2 years. That doesn't help. But we never expected but so much from Portland anyway. We expect them to make the playoffs, and then we expect them to go home. But Damian Lillard, after the way they got bounced out by the Pelicans in last year's postseason, speaking to him, interviewing him last week, this brother like, yo, I went home and watched film. Sometimes it's got to be downs before there are ups. And you got to pay attention to what you may have done wrong. And he talked about how he was being double-teamed and triple-teamed and being trapped, and how it wasn't just about Drew Holiday guarding him one-on-one last year. And he talked about what it was a surprise to him and how he didn't expect it, even though this is his 5th consecutive year in the postseason. He talked about all of these things and how he would be ready. And sure enough, he is ready. And he's balling. And we have to look at it from the perspective that now we're going to have to take this a little bit more seriously on 2 fronts. Number 1, the ascension of Damian Lillard. And number 2, the potential demise of Russell Westbrook. Now, I believe in Russell Westbrook. I think Russell Westbrook is a superstar. I think he's the most athletic point guard we've ever seen in NBA history. I think he's an athletic freak of nature. His speed, his agility, his athleticism, he's unstoppable. He can do what he wants to do outside of hitting threes. But it's undeniable.
The 1 o'clock window, the late window. And I think it's a big deal. A lot of people say the NFL schedule doesn't matter. John, you've been working with me long enough. My theory on the schedule is this. If you don't have what I would call a top 10 quarterback, and you face 7 or more Pro Bowl quarterbacks, you're not a playoff team. What I look at the schedule tonight is how many Pro Bowl level quarterbacks you will face as a team. If you go look at New England over the last decade, the biggest advantage New England has had is quarterback dysfunction in Buffalo, New York, and Miami. There have been good coaches and good players. New England's they've had a quarterback advantage 6 times a year in their own division. That's very difficult to lose. So tonight, that's what I look at. If you have Patrick Mahomes and you only face 4 to 5 Pro Bowl quarterbacks, you're a playoff team. I've been pretty good through the years picking playoff teams. If you have Russell Wilson, now Russell Wilson, we know he's going to face Goff twice. And he's going to face Garoppolo twice, and those guys both have great offensive coaches. He's not going 4-0 in those games. So I'm looking at quarterbacks and coordinators tonight. How many Pro Bowl quarterbacks do you face? And that tells you generally how things are going to end up. But by the way, I can tell you right now, Philadelphia. So Washington didn't have a Pro Bowl quarterback.